With confidence for sealed product investing basically falling into a black hole, on today's video we'll go through the steps that Wizards of the Coast is going to have to take to build back up consumer confidence. In sealed product investing, it feels like we went from the roaring 20s right into the dirty 30s. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel as we go over some of the cause and effects of what's going on in the sealed market area of Magic the Gathering, but better yet, what Wizards of the Coast is going to have to do to get players back on board buying sealed product. Before we even get to what caused this lack of consumer confidence, let's look at sealed products from the beginning. When you go back to the very beginning of Magic the Gathering, Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Antiquities, Arabian Nights, the Four Horsemen, all the way through to Revised, all the way through the late 90s when you got Urza's Saga. Do you know most of that time, players didn't know you could hold on to boxes and keep that as an investment? It didn't occur to anybody. And the very few people who may have known about it or thought about it usually came from other card industries like baseball and hockey, who realized that potential of a card game like this to become something more than just playing a card game at a table. That's where we were. Me as a kid, I didn't think about saving boxes, although there was one or two people in town who did manage to do that and kept them saying, you know, in case I want to open some later, in case I want to play with some friends. And that's why they kept that odd box of Legends or Antiquities around. And they usually had to go to a major city to buy it. And that's if they could find it. Think about how that would start out. But now, somewhere around 2004, 2005, more people started holding on to boxes. Usually for that same reason I just mentioned, that future use of a product. By 2007, 2008, most players had seen that products being held at the LGS level were starting to rise in price. The prices were creeping up every couple of years by 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks a box. Like, you saw the difference. And then when channels like Alpha Investments and other YouTube content creators came onto the scene in 2016, things kind of blew up. Going back to things like Konzatar, Kier and stuff, we really started seeing a ramp up in 2014 all the way through, and then that big hit in 2016. From there on in, we've had the heady days of investing in our cardboard collectibles in the sealed box form. And I'm not just talking the set booster, draft booster, collector booster. I'm even talking commander products. Anything sealed from fat pack, bundle pack, complete pack, whatever you want. We had a multitude of products that players had the opportunity and desire to invest in. They saw value there based on what they could see at the LGS level, at their local stores, places like eBay, seeing sold listings. But there's a lot of things that players never factored in going forward. Wizards of the Coast never intended for sealed product to stay sealed. They never thought of that section of the collectible market that a product that would stay sealed would go up in value. So they ignored it. They didn't pay attention to it. And over that first 15 to 18 years of Magic, they didn't care. It was such a small fraction of the market that they didn't bother. But as with things like Commander, when they start to notice something happening, they're very quick to start to meet the demand, which means somewhere along the line, Wizards of the Coast recognized that as the player base was growing, there was more of an appetite for sealed products to be held. So they just ramped up production. They never said they wouldn't. They wanted to meet the demand of players by giving everyone the opportunity to hold on to some sealed product in their home. And that's exactly what they did. That's how they made sure that we were all happy. Here you go, here's more product. You know, before that, around 2008, 2009, it was a one shot and you're done. There was no restocks. There were no reprintings. I remember World Wake just selling out. I remember Rise of the Eldrazi, done. Zendikar, done. It was one printing and you had to line up outside and it was gone. But Wizards of the Coast learned when they saw the sales in the secondary market, when they saw what was happening and the potential money being lost because they ended a product line early, they just decided to ramp up production. to meet the demand of players, and players didn't expect that. But they should have understood that Wizards was going to get greedy. The problem is, they never stopped. And because Wizards of the Coast did not ramp down production in 2020, that very first Amazon dump in the Wild West of price-sensitive consumers, that first Amazon dump, when they were dumping off collector boxes of Crimson Vow and stuff, when that hit the market, that started to shatter everyone's belief in sealed box investing. It just overnight. And you add in the bad tactical decisions of the 30th anniversary, you drove away consumers. Wizards shattered consumer confidence. That one shot is all it took to crack that stone wall and watch things fall apart. Now, how do they get it back? How do they start building back up consumer confidence in the sealed market? Because there was a lot of money they were making on sealed margins, right? Sealed products, people buying cases and cases. People like Alpha Investments, Rudy, when he buys like pallet after pallet after pallet, he was spending millions of dollars selling to his patrons, cracking boxes. Every LGS doing the same. The engine was moving, and Cynthia Williams, in one fell swoop, going through Amazon, killed it. So now, how do they build back up consumer confidence to get players buying into the market again? The number one thing Wizards of the Coast can do to start building back the consumer confidence is going to be clear communication with their customer base. No more haphazard communications through a website. Give press releases, say this is the product life cycle, here are the products coming up this year. Let the players know your intentions for the print runs of those cycles. Are you going to have one print run, 2, 3, 4? We'd like to know. You don't have to give us the exact numbers of those print runs, I understand, but give us an idea of what you're thinking, because you've done such damage that you need to get back to the basics, and clear communication is one of them. Number 2, Wizards of the Coast, you need to own up to your mistakes. I don't want to hear any more willy-nilly jibber jabber about not overproducing products. If you're doing an Amazon dump, you overproduce, Cynthia. You made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as you own up to the mistake, let people know you did it and what you're going to do to fix it, which is, of course, number 3. Rectifying the situation, fixing the mistake and correcting it so it won't happen in the future. If you have a certain projected growth of the player base, and you see where the margins are going up and you're gaining more players, that's great for the game. But you don't have to double production to meet there. Ramp up production 10%, 15%. Let us know that. Back to clear communication. Let players know, hey, you know what? This game's doing really well. We've decided to ramp up production. We are going to be adding 15% to the stocks of this particular product. How hard is that? Thanks a lot for letting us know. And of course, number 4, offer an incentive to get people back to investing. You have to offer us something to get us to be buying that product again. Offer the incentive to get us back in, which means maybe you can say for one particular set, you actually give us the production numbers. We are printing 764,000 boxes of this particular product. This is the one time we are going to give production numbers. Even if it's just once, it would help you. If you gave us serialized boxes just one time to show us that that product is worth buying, you will see the fruits from that. You will see the reward as players dive into that product. And your failure to do so is not the player's fault. We are the consumer. You want us to consume your product? Give us something worth consuming. Giving us something that we want to desire. You know, people right now have been going off about the complete bundles and how amazing they are. But what most players, and I mean almost everyone, seems to have forgotten, 2015. Battle for Zendikar Fat Packs. Underproduced, highly sought after. I own over 100 of them right now. And guess what? They haven't even doubled in price yet. It's FOMO, the fear of missing out. Those complete bundles, when Wizards sees the success of those sales, they will redo it. They will see success. They will reprint those oil slick things. They will come up with another product just like it, but they will double up production. And the other ones will just sit there. because after 7 months from now, no one's going to care. So if you're one of those people holding complete bundles, I recommend you flip them as fast as humanly possible. Because with all the LGSs putting them up for $150, $200, they're worth 80. And even then, that was kind of risky at $80. I wouldn't have bought in at 80, and I didn't buy any. I skipped it because there's no situation in which I believe those are that investable. And that's the uphill battle that Wizards of the Coast is facing when trying to rebuild this wall, fix the dike, seal the dam, and get people back on side with the confidence in their products. Because there was a lot of money moving in sealed markets, and when nobody believes in it, we're not buying it by the case, they're not moving products, and that's what led to some of that stuff. So let's hope Wizards of the Coast watches this video and learns from those mistakes. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's comments in the comments section about sealed box investing or any sealed products at all, guys. It's a big wide range of products they've given us in the last 5 years as they kept expanding out the choices available to players. You will see lower production runs. You will see a condensation. We will shed some products. It's going to happen. Okay? And some of these products like Phyrexia and stuff, Dungeons and Dragons, Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate, some of those products are actually quite investable. People don't see it yet, but you can't see it because you're too mad to understand that some of these things now never got third, fourth product. They never got re-ramped up. Whatever's sitting on those store shelves eventually slowly dries up, and that's when the price starts ticking up, but Wizards already moved on from those products. They've already moved on to something else. It is what it is. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Hey, guys, a big shout out and thank you to all the fantastic patrons on my channel who show their support each and every month. Guys, this content creation is not possible without your help, so thanks again for being there for the channel. This content's for my patrons. You guys rock. So here you are at the end of the video. Now, it's funny, I had more I wanted to say in the video, but you got to keep these to a certain length. You guys at the end, you want to stick around, watch this stuff, it's great. But when you think about all the products, everything from Kamigawa, Streets of New Capenna, Kaldheim, Strixhaven, even Zendikar Rising, there's a lot of good products out there with some very good cards inside them. But sealed products were just so overproduced in some of these areas that it seems like there's a lot around. But what most players don't realize is, yes, there was a lot of production made, but some of these sets were getting third, fourth, and fifth print runs, and that didn't happen a lot in 2020. You got to remember that. And some of these products, as soon as they saw the downward slide, never got their third and fourth print run. So yes, there's a glut, but that's why certain products haven't been found on Amazon, because there actually isn't as many as you'd think. There's a reason why some of these products are not coming around. Yeah, you saw the D&D collector boxes, right? But we didn't see a lot of D&D boxes after a certain point. The Commander Legends, Battle for Baldur's Gate, there's certain reasons, guys, because they're allowed to have flexibility in their contracts to cancel later production runs, right? It's a stipulation in the contract based on the desire of the company for a reprint. It's very interesting stuff to see that some of these products in the next 5-10 years probably will be worth money. I'm not saying dive into this stuff. That's up for, you guys can decide that. It's an unregulated market. Nobody controls what goes on. It's the Wild West. What the market will bear, keep that stuff in mind. But the rule of double for me says that any product's got to double, which means some are a lot riskier than others. And when you can find products below $100, getting to 200 is not that hard when you see set boxes already reaching that in the Canadian dollar. So interesting stuff, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for hanging out. And I can't wait to see what happens with sealed box investing in the next 5 years. It's going to take a while, but the next 5 years will be a pretty critical point. See you guys soon.